The Russian invasion of Ukraine continues unabated. Here is a look at how Russia is advancing in Ukraine. Russian forces say they have struck a site in western Ukraine. This site allegedly stored a large number of weapons supplied by the United States and European countries. This comes as the battle intensifies in Severodonetsk. The strike has been conducted on Chotkiv, a relatively calm town located in west of Ukraine. The incident has left 22 people injured. Meanwhile, as the war rages on, dead bodies are piling up. Reports suggest that on an average, 600 to 1,000 Ukrainians are dying every day. An extraordinary loss of human life is being witnessed. More than 20,000 people have lost their lives in the span of 1 month. This poses questions. How will Ukrainian army fight if the war drags on? The war-torn country's forces are still fighting on the front line. However, sooner or later, the rising number of casualties is likely to erode its strength. A pro-Russian leader in eastern Ukraine has said that he would not alter the death sentences handed to 2 Britons and a Moroccan. These 3 individuals were fighting with the Ukrainian army. The leader of the Donetsk region said they came to Ukraine to kill civilians for money. That is why I don't see any conditions for any mitigation or modification of the sentence. He also said that the court had issued a perfectly fair punishment to the 3 fighters. Meanwhile, Kremlin marked Russia Day. Russian President Vladimir Putin presented state awards in the Kremlin. These awards were given to workers across fields of culture, art, science and technology. Putin handed the Star of the Hero of Labor honor to a film director and a conductor.
Каждый из вас уникален. У каждого свой путь к успеху. Но всех вас роднит яркая одаренность, исключительное трудолюбие и искренняя преданность своему делу. Ваше блестящее достижение – это пример верности призванию и гражданскому долгу. Я позволю себе сказать, что вами без преувеличения гордится вся страна. От всей души еще раз поздравляю вас с высокими наградами Родины и желаю всего самого доброго.
The situation in Severodonetsk remains tense. Russians destroyed a second bridge in the city. The cities of Severodonetsk and Lysychansk are separated by a river. These cities have been under Russian attacks for weeks now. While the war rages on in Ukraine and dead bodies are piling up, reports suggest that on an average 600 to 1,000 Ukrainians are dying every day. An extraordinary loss of human life is being witnessed. More than 20,000 people have lost their lives in the span of 1 month. This poses questions. How will Ukrainian army fight if the war drags on? The war-torn country's forces are still fighting on the front line. However, sooner or later, the rising number of casualties is likely to erode its strength. Well, joining us for more on the situation in Ukraine is the former Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine, Volodymyr Omelyan. Mr. Omelyan, welcome to WION. We are receiving reports that there has been a rocket attack in the west of Ukraine. This is considered as very rare. What does this say about Russia's advances in Ukraine? Mr. Omelyan, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you very well. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much for joining us on WION. We are receiving reports that there has been a rocket attack in the west of Ukraine. This is considered as very rare. What does this say about Russia's advances in Ukraine?
There is no advance at all, but definitely Russia is trying to capture Ukraine because they would like to move further west to Poland, Baltic states, and maybe into the middle of Europe. But our forces are fighting strongly and Russia is not progressing. So they are not only happy with occupying some territory in the eastern Ukraine and some piece of territory in the southern Ukraine, where actually I'm stationing right now with my battalion. We do believe that this is the end of Russian Empire. Whatever Mr. Putin says and dreams about restoring Soviet Union or Russian Empire, but there is no chance to make it happen, because in 21st century you cannot occupy other territories. You cannot kill people in thousands and hundred thousands, and if you do so, you become a terrorist and criminal.
Let me ask this. More than 20,000 people have lost their lives in the span of 1 month. Most are Ukrainians. Despite President Zelensky saying that Ukraine will prevail in the war, how long can this continue when the war is taking a huge toll?
There is only one finish for us. We should win, because otherwise we are all dead. Putin said that there is no Ukraine, there are no Ukrainians, and he would like to destroy our country as a whole. So there is not many options for us left. So we should fight, and we should win, and we will win.
Finally, Mr. Omelyan, as a former minister and government official, what do you think will be the best viable way for Ukraine to resuscitate or even revive exports and avoid a food crisis, even with signs that the conflict may not end soon?
To stop Putin. And this is a big issue for all civilized world. And I believe such a great country as India would not like to be ruled by China or Russia. And this is actually the dream of China and Russia to rule the world. I believe that destiny of each country should be concentrated in the nation of this country. And we are to choose whom we would like to be. Right now, there is no food crisis. It's actually artificially done by Russia because they lose in war. There is no much progress for them to sell oil and gas. So they would like now to shift their attention and attention of the world to the food problem. But there is only one problem. It's Russia itself.
All right. I've been talking to the former Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine, Volodymyr Omelyan. Thank you very much for making time and for talking to WION today. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.